It's amazing how much catching equipment kids have compared to earlier days where
It's not, you see, it's not so much the catching. That's not the thing that I see. I mean, the kids, they have the little roller bags. Like I had 2 bags. I would always have a bag for my gloves and I'd have a bag for my catching equipment. I'd go get a hockey bag for stuff. And now the kids today, they have the roller bags. It's the amount of bats.
Yeah.
It's the bats that kids walking into these games with $1,000 worth of bats in their bat bag. You just need one. You just need one.
Yeah.
A good $300 bat. A $300 bat's not going to fix a $3 swing.
Yeah, you're right about that. And there's a lot of $3 swings out there right now, for sure.
At all levels. And that is, yeah. So, but that's where the money is right now. It's the gloves. You know what? Yeah, there's $300 gloves out there. What is it, the A300s or whatever
I never
you know the
one.
brand? I mean, you see the brands. You see what the guys in the locker room have, and I look at these, and you go to the sporting goods stores, and you see a $70 glove, and you see a $200 glove, and I couldn't tell you what the difference is.
It's the guy who has it on his hand.
Right.
That's
exactly
right there.
Yeah. That's not going to make any difference if you're going to make the play or not. So I don't get it. But hey, if you have the means to do it and you want to provide your kids with it, go right ahead with that. It's just the bats that it baffles me on that. But no, the catching equipment though, hey, I'll tell you this. Like, so back in the day, back in high school, college, I had all silver gray. Was it Castillo, the catcher for the Cardinal back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the one that would have the leg out.
Oh, Pena.
Was it Pena?
No, that was in the 80s.
I thought it was Castillo, but he had the all gray, all silver catching equipment back in the day. So that's what I went and got. And I mean, I don't know how much it cost back then, but you can get some equipment now, personalized, multicolored to match whatever team you're on, and that stuff's $400, $500.
Why?
It looks good.
But if you can't play, what difference does it make?
I know.
It's like golf. You can go out and have the newfangled clubs and have all the nice apparel, but if you can't play, you can't buy a game.
Right.
Okay. You can't buy a game.
No. But hey, look good. Maybe you'll fool a few people along the way. Somebody that has played well for his entire 20-year career. We could see history this week. Could see history a few times this week here in St. Louis. We know for sure we're going to see it tomorrow. But Albert Pujols at 697. Adam Wainwright, Yadi and Waino will pass will set the all-time record for games caught as a battery tomorrow at Busch Stadium. This could be a very, very big historic week in St. Louis for the Cardinals.
It certainly will be. With the Yadi Waino thing, you have to wait until the 5th inning.
Yeah,
to make it official.
It doesn't start right when the first pitch.
Well, how could it be a first pitch?
Because they started. It started. Its game started. Yeah, so if Adam Wainwright gets knocked out in the first inning, the record still doesn't happen until the 5th.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll happen. I mean, there's no rain in the forecast or anything, and it just says a lot. And you think about the time that Waino has been on the injured list and missed the season with Tommy John, and Yadi, who's had some injury issues himself. They could easily be at 400 with all the time that they missed, but it's a great accomplishment, tribute to both of those guys. And I know Ali Marmol said the other day, we'll never see this again. This is one of those secure records that'll never be broken because nobody plays this long and nobody plays this long on the same team.
Right.
So it's great. I'm anxious to be there for it tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I know Katie Wu, I saw that. I haven't read it yet, but I saw that she did a sit down where she watched their first game in 2007.
I was when she did it.
Yeah. How was that?
It was cool because they were sitting there remarking about different little things that they did then that they still try and do now. So it was fun. It was fun to watch. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see it. I know she's put a lot of work into it. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, by all means do so.
Yeah, Katie Wu of The Athletic, all the way back 2007. So 15 years of the two guys being teammates and working together and setting the record that they will set tomorrow. And then at some point this season, I think it's inevitable. I have said for the past month now, if Albert got within 5 by those final 6 games against Pittsburgh, it was a done deal. Now he's within 3. It's just a matter of when. It would be really cool to see it happen in St. Louis. You got some games against the Reds this weekend where it could definitely happen. But to see him pass A-Rod to get now to 4th all time, I said it yesterday, this top 5, it'll never change.
Possibly. Yeah, because there's nobody who's playing now that's going to do it.
Pete Alonso,
No.
maybe. If he continues to go on a tear for a few years of 50 home runs a year.
Well, how many times has he hit 50? Once?
Is it? I thought he's got there twice. Has he got there twice, or is he?
That was once. But your point being, he had to be around for a long time.
Yep.
And guys just don't stay that long. The money, the injury, the bad teams, the good teams, who's batting around you. There's so many intangibles that go into a record like that.
Yeah.
And if you're a guy who's dominated by one side or the other, be it lefties or righties, it makes it even harder. And that's the one great thing about Albert. Albert hit righties in a pretty good manner as well as he hit lefties. So when you have that working for you, it means a lot. Now, the problem is we have put this game in such a situation where guys don't face lefties if you're a right-handed hitter. If you're a left-handed hitter as much. And I never understood why they would just bury guys in that manner early in their careers. But I don't think we'll see it. And I agree. I think that these 5 will be the last ones. I'll tell you something else. I found that there were more people nationally around the country I talked to who were excited to see him break A-Rod's record.
Yeah.
Compared to getting the 700, because A-Rod left such a bad taste in so many people's mouths over the years, and so now you have the legitimacy of Albert passing him, and I think it just it says a lot about how little or how least they thought of A-Rod compared to what Albert's done.
Yeah, that you can tell, you can see that there is a lot of people around baseball that are very happy that A-Rod has moved down a notch on that list. But then on the other side of things, you have, and you've seen this a few times, you've seen it mentioned a few times by national media, where people are starting to make accusations about Albert Pujols and how he's been on this hot streak the second half. The latest being Max Kellerman, who on his show, This Just In, has said, "Bartender, I'll have what he's having." He continues to say he must be practicing more now than he did the last 10 years. Max is kind of insinuating that maybe Albert's doing something different this season or the second half of the year that he wasn't doing prior to this hot streak.
Well, I always respected Max Kellerman as a boxing guy. I think what he's saying right now is just trying to create a stir. But haven't we heard that before about players who challenge home run records?
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried. But I heard somebody yesterday tell me that he saw a guy hit a ball in Pittsburgh in the same spot that was caught a few days earlier, and Alberts went well over the wall. And so there's some sentiment of thinking maybe there's a new batch of balls. And my argument is, if that's the case, then why isn't everybody else hitting as many home runs as Albert's hitting?
Right. You can't just switch them in and out for the batter.
No.
Like you can't, and then you're getting to the point there where, like most conspiracy theories, where you're adding in so many different people to the element that all have to keep their mouths shut.
Right.
On that,
Somebody's
to
gonna
where,
give it up.
yes, at some point somebody is going to rat it out, or somebody's going to blow the whole thing up to where any kind of accusations get to be a little ridiculous.
True. So let's just enjoy while we can. And, who's to say 10 years from now somebody will come out with some revelation. But, when we went through this with the McGuire situation, and after a while you just say, man, I don't care. I'm just here to watch the game and let history take care of itself.
I'll tell you, I think it's plain, if baseball is willing to pop one of their biggest and brightest stars in Fernando Tatis Jr. for PEDs, I think it shows you that they are testing everybody, and everybody is subject to being suspended for that. A-Rod missed an entire year because of it, as he was chasing and getting closer to 700. So they're not picking and choosing which stars of the game they want to hit with this.
I think if there's anything, you have people who will challenge a record to prevent somebody else. When Ford Frick, Fort Frick decided that they weren't going to recognize Roger Maris because he had, a few more games than Babe Ruth. That kind of stuff you just kind of move on from. But I think in this situation, let's just play.
Yeah.
Let's just play.
So with this getting closer, Albert right now, Albert 3 away. If he goes on a little bit of a cold streak, if the Cardinals have things wrapped up the final week of the season, and does Ollie try to get him as many at bats as possible? Does Ollie bat him leadoff in some games? Let's say Albert gets to 705 the final week or 10 days of the season.
No.
Does he bat him leadoff and say, you know what, go out there, swing for the fences, try to get to Ruth?
No. I don't think they want to circus this thing up.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. And I've said this to you before, if Albert's is 699 on the last day and goes over, that's it.
Yeah.
Not coming back.
Right.
And I'm good with it. So either way it works, let's just go play.
You see a guy, I think you see a guy right now that is at peace with his decision that these are his final games, that these are his final 21 regular season games, and then however many games they're going to play in October, that's it. That's it. That's his career. He'll be in Cooperstown 5 years after that.
That's correct.
And so all this talk of him coming back and any kind of inkling, I'm sure it will be there. I'm sure there will be some point where he's sitting at home going, I could do it again. But then having to sit there and think of the workout regimen and everything that it's going to take, he's going to go, nope, not for me.
I think the three things he'll look forward to not seeing: the workout regimen, the travel, and people imposing on his time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right, enjoy it, folks. 3 weeks left in the Cardinals regular season, and a lot of those games against the Reds and the Pirates. So, also too, I should say it's a very important week. We mentioned historically for Wainwright, Yadi, possibly Albert. It's a very important week for people that bet the over early in the season too. That was 84 and a half. Yeah, that was 80, as in the Cardinals at 83 wins right now. So,
well, that's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. Right. So people will be making a little money this week on the Cardinals too. So 2 games against Milwaukee this week, today and tomorrow. Anything you got anything on those 2?
Obviously, this is Milwaukee's season. You go down 10, you're done with competing for that, and now all of a sudden you may be 4 or 5 back in the wild card. So when you have that coming up, this is your season right here. And what we've seen so far, this team is just really flat. And it's one of those deals where you just don't know how you can jumpstart them. So if we don't see any fire of them over the next couple of days, and let's just go and pack it in.
Hey, this is Lunch with Claibs and Joe. We are at Mungenast Alton Toyota. We got a little more baseball talk, something to look forward to for the 2023 season right after this.
And the 2-1 is out to deep center again. Yes! He's done it again. In the air. It is gone! Welcome back, Albert. Foul territory, and he caught it. Tommy Edman.
Guarantee every 2022 postseason game with a deposit for 2023 season tickets. Learn more at cardinals.com/season.
There you go. 2023 season tickets available right now at cardinals.com. Also, hey, new rules will be implemented in the 2023 season. That just came out. Everything signed on. We knew all of these were coming. Nothing really is a big surprise. Pitch clock, number 1 on this list. 30 seconds between hitters. Catcher must be in the box ready with 9 seconds left on the timer. The hitter ready with both feet in the box within 8 seconds of the clock. Pitcher can step off the rubber twice. This has been tried at the minor league level and has reduced the average time of games by 26 minutes. So quicker games.
Now, the other thing that comes into that, I don't know how much the commercial time that exists in minor league baseball with regard to between innings. Man, it'd be great to get it under 26 minutes, but there's still some things that's going to stretch it out, but not as much. I have no problem with this rule. They should have implemented this a long time ago. It's a simple one to follow, although I think we'll see injections go up considerably in the first 2 months of the season.
Just guys not being ready and called for stuff.
Yeah, and they're going to chirp, and then the manager's going to defend this guy. So I think it's important for teams to have a very good bench coach because he's going to probably manage more in the season next year than he would at any other time.
The another one, the shift next year that so right now, upon release of the pitch, there must be a minimum of 4 defenders other than the battery with both feet within the outer boundary of the infield dirt. Upon release of the pitch, there must be 2 of the 4 infielders on each side of second base. The team must designate 2 infielders for each side of second base. They cannot switch. Example, a team cannot have a defender move back and forth based on what hand the batter hits.
I have no problem with this rule either. It opens up the game a lot more because I think we had too many guys who just became dead pull hitters for all the wrong reasons. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with this one either.
Did you? I saw in the minor leagues they had the triangle behind second base. They kind of put that area back there where the defender couldn't stand back there. I didn't. I kind of liked that. I thought that was okay.
I think what they're trying to stay away from is adding additional markings on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make the game look pure, and I think that if you start putting additional markings out there, it probably doesn't have the same impact that it should. So I think they'll be on an honor system and just measuring guys on where they should be. It's not that hard of a rule.
Yeah. And then finally, the larger bases. So bases are currently 15 inches square on each side. They will be 18 inches. So I guess they've tried this in minor league. It's been easier to steal bases or take an extra base on hits. And it has also decreased base-related injuries by 13.5%. When you think about it, I think I don't know how noticeable any of those changes are going to be as far as the bases go. But I mean, maybe percentages of things go up, and you attribute that to the sides of the base.
Yeah, no, I think there's some validity to it. Everybody wants to slide hand first, which I've never been an advocate of that, but I think they want to give themselves more coverage of the base. And obviously the base is 3 inches closer to where you were.
That's another thing, by the way, youth baseball. I've noticed a lot of the kids, they have the mitts. I have not seen a kid slide head first, though. I've seen a lot of them wearing the mitts, but absolutely none of them know how to slide head first. They don't even know how to slide feet first at certain levels.
I think sliding feet first is almost a lost art. The hook slide and still being able to avoid the tag is something that we just don't see a lot of.
Yeah, but just to have that, they're putting it on just because they see it on TV and they want.
That's kind of like guys who have all silver catching gear. Kind of like that is what you mean.
My son the other day saw somebody wearing an arm sleeve, and he goes, "What's that?" And I said, "It's an arm sleeve." And he goes, "What's it for?" And I was like, "Nothing." I go, "They just put it on to look good." And he goes, "Can I get one?" And I said, "Sure, I'll look for one for you."
Really, it was really from basketball.
Yeah,
Allen Iverson used to wear it because he was falling on his elbow. So
yeah, I mean, it started off as a compression sleeve.
It's designed allegedly to keep your elbow warm. I don't know how much of an impact it's having, other than they're selling a lot of it.
Exactly. Yeah,
to kids who watch it on TV, like their dad would watch catchers and silver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And buy the stuff and spend a lot of money on things they don't probably need. Oh, well, hey, look good, play good. Hey.
I always work that way.
This is Lunch with Claibs and Joe. We got so much football to talk about. Week 1 of the NFL season is in the books. College football, 2 weeks into that. We are at Mungenast Alton Toyota, and we will be back in just a bit.
My name is Jeremy Seabury. I am one of the owners of Pawford K9.
Marcus Galmore, co-owner of Pawford K9.
What makes us different from other dog companies is there is no breed left behind. We stand by that 120%. We specialize in aggressive behavior modification. We don't turn away. We bring them in for a free evaluation to see if we can help the dog.
Here at Pawford K9, we focus on the owners, educating the owners.
How do I get this dog to give me the behaviors that I'm asking for without the treats? So that's when me and Marcus come in. We train the dog, so when you take the dog home, you don't need the treats. the dog is doing it because you're asking it to.
After each training package, we go through a series of lessons. We keep going until the owner gets it.
We make sure that they go over the beatings with their dog, and that dog is listening before they leave here, but also we follow up when they get home. Is your pup listening to you here? If it's not, we one phone call away, we'll make a trip. We got the Paw Pick Mobile, where we go out to their homes and make sure their dog is okay.
Hey, back here at Mungenast Alton Toyota, it's lunch with Claibs and Joe here on claibsonline.com, powered by Ameren, Illinois, driven by Mungenast. Last little note here, locally, the Blues, as Jeremy Rutherford just tweeted about an hour ago, the Blues signed forward Jordan Kyrou, 8-year extension, $65 million, 8.125 for the average annual value. Pretty much the same thing that Robert Thomas signed for back in July. So
Yeah.
Cardinals are the Blues working on keeping that base here in St. Louis.
It's a good move by Doug Armstrong. It's unfortunate they weren't able to do something with Kachuk. This comes at a cheaper rate. And, Kyrou, I think, is at a turning point in his career where, he's an exceptional skater. But, there was some nights you just didn't see him enough. So this will be a good challenge for him to live up to the expectations, much like we saw with Robert Thomas the first year he signed.
Yeah. So moving on from that, it was week 1 in the NFL. We saw it end last night in Seattle. Only one Monday Night Football game this year in week 1. They're going to have a couple doubleheaders, but last night it was all about, I guess it was supposed to be ESPN wanted it to be all about the debut of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They probably shouldn't have put the Manning cast on during week 1. If they wanted the viewers on there, they probably should have held back a week on that before they brought those guys out there. It was weird seeing Joe Buck and Troy Aikman calling a game on ESPN, but you used to hearing their names or their voices on the broadcast. I don't know. I mean, outside of the Bills being good and the Chiefs' offense not really lacking from losing Tyreek Hill, I don't know who else is really good or bad in the NFL after week 1.
You won't know for a while. Week 1 is the hardest game to handicap. And you wouldn't think so, considering that you've had, 4 months to prepare for one team. Now, obviously, you have some turnover with regard to those teams, but when it's all said and done, you have a pretty good understanding of what their coordinator likes to do. So I thought this week 1 was okay. Primetime games of last night. Well, a guy misses a field goal in the last second. He had the Geno Smith-Russell issue, but I didn't think it was that exciting of a game.
No.
And neither was the Dallas-Tampa game on Sunday night.
The Cowboys aren't good. Again.
Yeah, they got problems. They'd already lost their left tackle in Tyron Smith. They have 2 starting tackles that are rookies. Ezekiel Elliott's not close to what he used to be. And you got a rookie quarterback who's got to figure out how to take a snap.
Yeah, now you lose Dak Prescott now for an unknown number of weeks.
Would you make a deal for Garoppolo?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there. He didn't play a single snap for the 49ers this past week. There are so many teams out there after week 1 that I think look and see, okay, hey, we need a quarterback. Yeah. And he's just sitting there. The 49ers hold all the cards with that one too.
Yeah, the problem is Dallas doesn't have much they don't have any money. I mean, I don't know if they can get Garoppolo under the cap. And they squander draft choices fairly easy. So I'm not sure what you can get if you're San Francisco. That's reasonable value compared to Garoppolo.
Yeah, I'm already out of my Survivor League that I was in. I took the Broncos. Which would have been a smart move. I thought it was. I figured that would have been outside of taking, I'm trying to see what other the Chiefs maybe outside of taking them. I mean, but you kind of save them for later in the year. If you're doing that, you're not going to take the Broncos all that much. So take them in that week. But the Patriots did not look good. Mac Jones did not look good. And I think Bill Belichick doesn't like the team that he has out there this year. This
his team.
Yeah, it is. And it's probably going to be the hardest work that he's had to do since he's been in New England.
Since the early days, you're right. They haven't drafted well. They don't sign a lot of free agents. They think they can coach everybody up. But, the guy gets taken in the 5th round. There's a reason why he's taken in the 5th round. He's not as good as he needs to be. And then here comes this guy trying to coach up a guy. And they tell you how good he's going to be in the whole 9 yards. But when you start putting eyes on him yourself, you say to yourself, I don't know what you're seeing because I don't think this guy's going to be very good. But you're stuck with him because that's your draft choice.
Yeah, the back to the 49ers game, Garoppolo doesn't take a snap in that one. That one was just a mess, sloppy game up at Soldier Field in the rain. The illegal toweling penalty.
It's been a while since I've read an NFL rule book,
Mm-hmm.
but apparently they've added multiple pages on this rule book that don't make a lot of sense in some cases.
No, and I mean, I get it. Like it's, you're using a foreign object to improve the field. So, I mean, I get it. I understand it, but that just, that one, for a field goal, if you let both sides do it, there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Exactly.
Field goal kicking just all over the league was really bad this past weekend.
Again, guys don't play in this kind of competition in the offseason. They don't play against this competition in the preseason. So to ask guys to bring their A game at this time just doesn't work.
Thoughts on Lovie Smith going for the tie?
Lovey's playing with house money. So if he survives this year, so be it. But he just didn't have the confidence, I guess.
Yeah, it's but overall, I think Buffalo Bills, winners of Week 1, they look the best out of anybody.
They did.
When you look at everything that happened this past weekend. On the other side of things, though, college football, you and Howard Richards every week, it's Huddle Up with Howard. You guys do your show. You talk Mizzou football. You talk about some of the other top games, some of the NFL games that are out there. Did Howard see this performance coming from Mizzou this past weekend against Kansas State?
I don't think anybody saw it.
Drinkwitz didn't.
Well, here's my thing. He's an offensive coordinator, but there were a couple of plays and maybe had Brady Cook had back, he would have been more effective with. But even with that said, the play calling was really suspect. And I think it was so suspect that Eli had to come out after the game and take the blame on why this thing disintegrated.
Yeah.
Throw in the fact that the punt they had returned, that was devastating. Now, you know how good their special teams are. Why do you even kick it to them?
Yeah. So when you look at another disappointing season maybe on the horizon for Mizzou,
It's too early for that.
You think so? Who in the SEC, though, do you think they can beat after seeing some of those teams play the first 2
Well,
weeks?
they're going to find out about Oregon in a couple of weeks. It's not going to be easy from what we've seen.
Right.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is Eli Drinkwitz is now a few years into this. How long is that leash right now?
You got to get him through this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's around for a bit.
Okay. He's recruiting really well. He's doing a hell of a job recruiting.
Get him on the field and coach him up.
Yes, absolutely. There has already been one firing in college football. Nebraska fired Scott Frost, and I don't know if you saw this stat. The first black coach in the entire school of Nebraska in the history of all their sports.
Mickey Joseph.
Yeah. Took him till 2022. And it took a firing 2 games into the season to finally get that.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well.
Yeah.
And, I think that we have to pay attention to the fact that college football's changed so much between the transfer portal and bringing in new players, the over-recruitment of other players. And I think sometimes there's opportunities. Coaches are going to miss a game.
Yeah.
Or miss some practices because they're doing all the other things that come into play.
Yeah. So this week, Huddle Up with Howard. You guys will preview the upcoming week. That'll be Friday afternoon is when you'll see the latest edition of this week's Huddle Up with Howard. We will take one more break live out here at Mungenast Alton Toyota. Take a final break, come back, wrap things up right after this.
St. Louis Acura has an unbeatable selection of new cars arriving daily, like the all-new 2023 Acura Integra. We also have a great selection of over 200 pre-owned and factory precision courtesy vehicles with finance rates as low as 1.9% for 36 months with approved credit. And we've added Saturday service hours to our newly renovated service facility. Don't forget, we'll buy your vehicle here at our dealership or from the convenience of your home. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.
Yeah, somebody was telling me. Let me see the rest of it.
Hey, we're back here at Mungenast Alton Toyota here on claibsonline.com. It's lunch with Claibs and Joe. Hey, they got plenty of used cars out there in the lot at Mungenast Alton Toyota. They also have them at Mungenast St. Louis Acura over there on Manchester as well. And a lot of those cars going electric. Claibs, you have talked with the new president there at Ameren, and I know in years past, one of the things that they were planning on doing was getting more of those electric, those charging stations out there on the roads here in the state of Illinois to make sure that those electric cars can stay powered and we can make the change.
It's going to be interesting to see how they come about this. Obviously, they thought this out. The growth of electric cars has grown significantly. But again, it's about the charge and the length of the charge. I think that's important also. You can go to a gas station and fill up in 5 to 10 minutes. You're going to need to have some cool heels for at least a half hour when you have an electric car. So that's going to be a big difference. We were talking earlier, the next key for that industry is to have a better battery and a better charging accessibility available to them.
So we've talked a lot of football today, but we've also talked Cardinals. We broke the Blues news about Jordan Kyrou getting an 8-year deal, staying with the club till 2031. Other sports here locally, we got St. Louis City SC. They're starting here, and I mean it's just a matter of months now. We're about 6 months away from St. Louis City SC making their debut. But this weekend on September 18th, we will see the first match ever at Centene Stadium, City 2 versus Sporting KC 2. They will play a game there. The game will be broadcast on KMOX.
Really?
I thought that's what it's. Yeah, we broadcast on KMOX this weekend as well. So you will be able to listen to it. And but if you have a way of getting tickets, if you're a season ticket holder, I know those options went out there to buy tickets to it. I would imagine it's going to be a very big crowd out there at Centene Stadium for a lot of people getting a first look at that new stadium.
Oh, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm anxious to see how things unfold.
Have you toured it yet? Have you?
I have not. I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah.
Have you?
I haven't either. No.
Well, I know they're gonna have a big thing of grass in the middle and some seats around it.
Right.
I'm sure there'll be a suite somewhere where you can have something.
I mean, I'm sure you want to go check out the suites before you're given tickets to go sit in those suites for all the games. Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm well aware of that. Yes, I think everybody watching this that knows you is also well aware. You're not breaking any kind of big news here.
I'm not sure whenever my career is over that I would ever go to another game in person, let alone sit in the seats. Maybe
sit in the seats. Okay, I get that. I mean, but you're going to have a chair sitting there in the radio booth for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I won't be there for the rest of my life. At some point, I'll do something else. But point being, it's just not something that floats my boat. You know, Mike Shannon, when Joe West broke the record, 54-60 for games umpired, Mike Shannon was in a suite that night. And he told me, that's the first time I'd ever been in a suite in all the years I've been doing baseball. And I think what he was basically saying, I could get the habit of liking this.
The suite's fine. Yeah, it's when he sits out there in the other seats where people recognize him, where that'll get old in a hurry. And then also, hey, XFL St. Louis, they haven't named them, they have not officially named them the Battlehawks yet. Right now, it is just XFL St. Louis. They announced their list of football operations staff. Some notable names on this list, some names that you've heard of. Rock and Roll Ricky Prohl is on this list. Leroy Glover, he's going to be the wide receivers coach. Leroy Glover going to be coaching the defensive line.
Art Valero, I know Art.
Yeah, Bruce Gradkowski, the former NFL quarterback, is on the list.
How about Todd Hewitt as the equipment manager?
I saw that.
Free swag. Ty Hewitt, he's second generation. His dad, Don Hewitt, was the equipment guy for the Rams for God knows how long. And Ty was here for a long time, so it's good to have him back in St. Louis.
Yeah, so a lot of names that you will recognize on this list as that starts up here in February.
We knew they could play. Now I guess we'll find out if they can coach.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Where are they getting players from?
Tryouts. See who maybe recruit some guys that aren't getting enough NIL money in college and want to see if they can make a few bucks playing semi-pro ball before they get to the NFL draft. The Battlehawks had one of those guys. The Battlehawks had a guy get drafted. He left college. I think he got kicked out of college and went to the XFL.
How did he do?
He got drafted from the XFL.
Did he have a career?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't follow. I just know he got drafted. Okay. I didn't follow it that close. I followed it close enough.
Alex Leatherwood got drafted too. You remember him?
Who?
Alex Leatherwood, first round pick for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah,
offensive tackle.
Yeah,
gone already. First round pick.
It happens.
Yeah, not often. Yeah. All right, what else do we have?
That's all we got today. Yeah, that's all we have for today.
Oh, congratulations to everybody who was involved in the Ascension Classic. What a phenomenal golf tournament. For all the volunteers that were involved in it, I tip my cap to you and how you made that thing a pleasant experience for so many people. And to Nick Ragone, congratulations to you. I don't know how you're going to spice this thing up for next year, but you have 360 plus days to get it figured out, and I know you will.
That is a wrap for us here on Lunch with Claibs and Joe out here at Mungenast Alton Toyota. Check them out, altontoyota.com, or come on by and see what they have out there in the lot. Lots of used cars for you. Come on in here, talk to Jamie Burkhart and all of his staff and see what they can put you in today. All week long, we'll have content up on Claibs Online, whether it's Daily Cards Live, the Dr. Rick Show.
Saw Dr. Rick last night. He's in good spirits.
Yeah, new episode for that will drop tomorrow.
Howard to come up later in the week.
Yes, sir.
Daily Cards, as we mentioned.
Yeah, and then I'm off to Boston this weekend. I got a race in Salem on Saturday,
Massachusetts,
and I am going to go to Fenway for the first time ever on Saturday. Tickets? I don't yet.
Make sure you remind me.
All right, we'll do. So we'll get to see Fenway Park for the first time on Saturday. I've never been to Boston before, so I'm you know what, looking forward to it.
Going back, so enjoy yourself.
I have been told that you need to go to Fenway one time. And that's it.
You know why. You know why you have to go twice.
So I'm very much looking forward to going to Fenway for my one time this weekend. We will be back here for Lunch with Claibs and Joe next week. Plenty of content, as I mentioned, all week long right here on claibsonline.com. Thank you to the folks out here at Mungenast Alton Toyota. We will talk to you next time. And, hey, have a great week of enjoying Cardinal baseball. A lot of history to be made this week here in St. Louis.
They are St. Louis Cardinals forever. But every career must come to an end. This season, we say farewell to some of the most legendary players to ever wear the birds on the bat. After countless memories that will always be a part of St. Louis Cardinals history, we invite you to join us for another. Tickets are available to witness the storybook ending. Don't miss your chance to see these Cardinal greats for the last time at Busch Stadium. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.